We're back for another live. We didn't get to finish the last live as much as we wanted to, so we thought we'd continue on with a couple odds and end things. I wanted to share something. When we had the pandemic because of the COVID-19 virus, um, my family decided that they wanted to do special projects, and the projects were very unusual, but they really played the part. My husband started a concession stand that he would sell items to the kids, and they'd eat it during movie night, and he'd sell pop and some warm and cold foods. We stuck it in a container and put a lid on it, and they'd come around, and then we had like a little money chest that they'd pay us, and then we'd give them reimbursements, and that rest of the money that we got went into more supplies that we got at our local stores, which was very helpful because it kept us very nutritious, maybe eating a little more than we should, but it gave us a variety to do different things with that. Some other things that we did was I was always into the rocks. So I did a lot of rock drawing. We bought canvases, and we literally, Frankie would do canvases and I would color them or paint them. And it kept us busy, and we didn't worry about being stuck in our house with people staring at us. Going around, we were afraid to go around, especially with the COVID-19 virus, because we weren't sure exactly what the outcome would be. Obviously, when we all had COVID, it was like, everyone was stuck with COVID, and we had taken the boosters, and the boosters, well, technically, they didn't stop us from getting COVID. So it was kind of a long story with that. So we were a little scared, apprehensive, a little fearful, and we took special things to make sure that we didn't. What we did was Frankie would pick a theme, or I would pick a theme. This theme was clowns. Could you draw me pictures of all kinds of clowns? And on the back, he'd write a special message. Every canvas that he did, he'd write a message. This one says, "You are 100% my warrior. I am so proud to call you my mommy. Never give up. I need you, mommy. Always make me happy every day. You make me happy every day."
Hey, Mama, Gavin Burris just waves at you.
Hi, how are you, Gavin? So it says, "I love you always and forever." And it says, "AKA your son, Frank." That was one. And then we did another one. This one happened to be Mario Brothers. And the only reason we chose this is because Frankie got a Nintendo Switch with Mario, and it had some characters that we drew. So what I did was I painted or used acrylic markers. Painting's okay, but my hands kind of shake at times, so I have to be real careful with that. But he picked those out, and I colored that for him.
Hey, Gavin says it looks good, Mama.
Oh, tell him thanks a lot.
Why don't you tell him?
Gavin, I really appreciate your thoughts on this, because this is what we spent. Our goal is to do one entire room of our home in our canvases, and we did over 300 canvases. And I would keep him busy with all types of themes and topics. Some of them were strange. This one happens to be the NFL, and it's all the logos?
It's the logos.
The logos of the teams. That was kind of a challenge. He tries to make me have pictures that have a lot of different areas. So the challenge is to make sure that I cover all the spots. This one actually had, and on the back you'll see every one of them has a special message that he says to me. Do I like doing these? Yeah, I do like doing them. It takes me, if I get on it, I could probably get it done in a day. At one time it was like I was real slow at getting it done, but it was done in a day. I don't do a lot of reading. Sad, being a teacher, you would think I'd read all the time. My kids bought me, Heaven is Real, and bought me some other books like Grandpa, Being Mad at Grandpa.
Hey, Mama, what are some new things you want to make in the future?
Well, I'd like to get into some of the whirly gigs that go outside, that go around in the wind. So I want to try to create that. I have to get some patterns to do there. I'm now in a project that I'm doing for a local fireworks store, and I'm doing the 4th of July theme. So I'm going to do a lot of red, white, and blue. I'm going to do a lot of flags, drawing flags, character flags. We're going to do a lot with sparklers. And hopefully they get to pass those out to some of the little kids that come in. They pass out stickers anyways, but they want to pass out a stone. Stone means a lot because they got something they can hold. I always call them worry stones. If you're sad and you need a worry stone, pick up one of my rocks, and all you need to do is just keep it in your hand, and it takes the sadness away and makes you calmer. And I really believe in my rocks because each rock plays a part. Each thing that I do that's wooden plays a part. I did a birdhouse, and Frank, or my son, and I started a porch at our house. And what we did was we created an art studio. So when I got finished with the wood products, I would place those arts pieces up on the walls. And we first started as theme, but then he basically has his own pattern that he's got out there, and we put as much as we can. I even bought from P. Graham Dunn. It was, I think, a door, and I painted the door, and each door there were 3 frames. So what I did was I themed it Halloween. So each one was a Halloween theme that I did, and we placed it up on the wall.
Do you want to show them the wall?
Well, why don't you take a visit out there to show them?
All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to take you out there.
Okay.
So this is a few of the stuff we've done. Woodworking projects. We got a ton of stuff we've done. Here's the wooden thing that she just mentioned right down here. And then we got some more wooden projects. Couple hanging stuff right here. Home sweet home. Home is where the heart is. Blessed. Turtles. Bunch of stuff. And just to show you a few of the things. So we're going to go back to Mom.
Show them the wind chimes.
The wind chimes. And these things right here were actually given to us after my father passed away. And it actually, every time you ring it, that's when an angel gets its wings. So just to show you a few things real here. And we got a little gnome here. A couple cool things. So here we go. We're going to go back to Mom.
And like I said, with that studio, gives me a chance to show some of my work. And my son's careful to put them up and display them. If we ever have to take them down, all he's going to do is unscrew them. And then we put them in a box, and we're set to go to put it in the next place. Artwork's always helpful. I'm looking for projects. If any of you know any ideas how to do special projects that you think I could try, I'm open for new ones as long as I can do it.
And if you guys have a pad and paper, send an email to sharethehope@gmail.com, and it's SHER the hope@gmail.com of any ideas, and then it'll go directly to our business associate.
Oh, and on top of that, I'm looking for, I got some plastic frisbees I'd like to learn to paint. Plastic's hard to paint with regular paint, so I'm looking for a special paint that I can put on there and design patterns. I've got some things outside. There's like garden things that the kids have let me put. Like I've got stones that I put out, pretty large ones, bricks. They're a little bigger, and I put our name on it. And some of those are out there displayed. I was telling the kids yesterday. I said I did my one whole bag of rocks from Smith's Quarry. I'm going to have to go back up to Medina to pick up some more rocks because I'm out. I can get through one of those bags, and I'm telling you, if I get going, it's pretty big. But during the quarantine, we watched a lot of TVs. My daughter, youngest daughter, was into Harry Potter books, and she started with book 1, and she made it all the way to book 6 with videos. And I'm hoping to get her on the YouTube channel to do a critique of the books as to which one is better, because she loves her Harry Potter along with her Legos. She loves doing Legos, and she's done some huge Legos that costs a lot of money, but she wants to make sure she takes good care of them. She did the whole castle, and that was one thing that we had, and there were some other things too, like I said. Oh yeah, and another thing.
Hold on, do you want me to get that?
No, don't get it down. But my son drew for me a picture of my husband. It's up on my wall with he loved country music, so he drew those. We got some pictures to show you guys. Here's some of the pictures that he drew and then I basically painted. This is Dad Albert. So this was kind of a fun one and unique too. This one actually is a new one out. It's If. So these are the characters of If.
And this is from a project of our guy named Gav. Was it remember? Crap. Go ahead, Mom.
It was a project that we did.
Of a fellow YouTuber suggested.
Okay, and then this one is all the young versions of Madagascar. Like I can show you the monkey. You got the hippopotamus, the lion, the zebra, another monkey, a giraffe, and it looks like they're in the park along the city. City probably was New York, and this is where it came from. This one was Alice in Wonderland, and it's her tea party that she had with all her friends, and you'll see some of the friends sticking out. Now this was kind of fun, but see, you can see what I meant by my son picks harder things for me to do, because some of the smaller parts, it takes a little bit to do. You have to watch what paints you put in, because you'll see some of them are darker than lighter. So that's one thing I had to be careful with. Like this one I can look at right now. And this is the Grinch. And this is his sled. But the paints happen to be too dark, and you'll see that it's real dark. It's hard to really see what was drawn. He's a magnificent drawer. My oldest daughter, she loves to do her drawing. Now, she does a lot of natural drawings, where my son will pick just a theme, and then he goes online on his phone, and he pulls out, and what do? Do you snap shoot it?
I take a screenshot, and it usually takes me about the smaller ones. The smaller pictures usually takes me a little over an hour. The bigger pictures that I do, like the integral parts, like the Grinch, that usually took about 2 to 3 hours. It ain't easy. I will say that.
No, it takes a lot of time, and when he's done, he's proud of what he's done. So that's why we want to save these and put them up in some room eventually, and then we'll see what all he did. Now, my youngest daughter, she's into paint by numbers, and she's done a variety of different paint by numbers. We started out the Grinch, and she did several Grinches. Then she did a snowman and a cabin.
Well, here's one. Let me take them over to this one, Mama.
Tammy, did you do the gnomes?
This one here, she did. My sister.
I did the gnomes. Okay, I'm gonna say that. And then can you go over to just show now the gnomes was done by my oldest daughter.
I'll get there in a second,
Okay.
Mama.
Now, the paint by numbers takes a lot of time. My oldest daughter bought my youngest daughter frames, and she bought her all kinds of patterns. Some of these patterns are so small, she had to buy special paintbrushes to paint, and she doesn't paint it all at one time because it would be just too much for it. But believe it or not, I have to be honest, she takes her time to do it. She has a little ADD, and a lot of times just focusing in on those numbers, it takes a lot to do, but she does a real good job when she does it. Hi.
We got some visitors, Mama.
Hi, guys. I'm glad you joined us. Just thought we'd talk a little bit about what we do in our lifetime and what makes us happy. And these are some of the things that makes us happy. You know, I collect the strangest things. You know, I have shells. My oldest daughter's collected. She also has collected, My Little Ponies. She's got a collection of My Little Ponies. My son collects helmets, and he's actually got a degree in sports management. So he's got helmets. One of the helmets is signed by one of the NFL football players that he actually coached. He coached over at Ashland, or over at the university. And he was offered a contract for Chicago Bears. Now, he ended up going to Miami Dolphins, and that's where he's at. I believe right now, we're not sure. We've been trying to trace him. We traced him all the way through the things on TV. We're into cooking. We love to cook. We take different varieties of cooking. Like, we've got a hamburger challenge my oldest daughter and my oldest son is going to try. And each one of them is going to produce a hamburger. And I guess I get to be the lucky one to try it, to see which one I like the best. We have a special award, and I don't have it right with me. It's called the GOAT Award. And the GOAT Award is actually a trophy that's a goat that we pass among our challenges. And you know, whoever does the best gets to keep the goat for a little while. So those are some of the things that we do. We try to add some things that's going to be a little bit different. You know, if it's something that we want to try, we'd try. If we're going to build a tent in the middle of our living room, we're going to build a tent in the middle of our living room. We've got the time to do it during COVID, so that's what we did. And then, of course, you always watch TV, but I found out, I want to give you some suggestions. Don't always watch the news. The news is probably the worst thing to watch because you hear so many bad things out in the world that it just totally takes you down. It makes you think, oh my gosh, does this happen in our world? But it did. You know, they had a picture of someone visiting France during the COVID-19 virus, and there was no one on the streets at all. They were all put up, and, you know, you talk about those masks that you had to wear. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Even if they wouldn't have helped, did we really know what would help and what wouldn't help? We didn't even know what we were dealing with at the beginning with this virus, the COVID-19 virus. And I would not wish anyone to have to go through what you have to go through when you had COVID, because it's not fun. It's not fun at all, and it's not something you want to always remember. You want to always try to figure out something that's going to keep you happy. So the negative things, the sad things, you try to turn away. And when we do these paintings and we do things like this gives us a chance to reflect on something other than news, the bad news in the world. You know, it's okay to see the good and watch some comedy and some stuff like that, but make sure. I talked to a doctor that injected needles. He's putting gel in my knees because they're bone to bone. And I'll be honest, he said to me, he says, I don't even watch anything unless it's happy, because he says, I don't think anyone needs to know anything that's not happy. And I thought that was a good thing to do, especially with that doctor, because I'll tell you, it makes you think. You know, you put your hand, you put yourself in their hands to take care of you, and they do the best they can. And sometimes we don't agree with everything, but you know what? Who do you go to if something happens to you? You have to go to someone, And I gotta stress this too. Your mom and dad, or your close sister or brother, a lot of you turn away from them, and I want to tell you something. Family's real important. If you got a problem, go to your family, talk to them, sit down, have a family discussion, talk about some of the issues. Because I'll be honest, you bottle it up too much, it only makes it bad, and it makes it very, very disturbing. So I want to get away from that negative part. My oldest daughter, when my husband passed away, made a special pillows, and on the pillows is my dad, and I'll show you one of them. This is my husband, or was my husband, and it's a pillow that I can take with me when I'm sad. So you can pick on products or items like this to maybe take some of the sadness away from you. My youngest daughter, I don't know if she thinks that I can crochet some, but like I told you, she's into Harry Potter. So she bought me a crocheting kit of Harry Potter. And to be honest, there's no way I can do this. I'm not that talented. But like I said, she got it, and I hope to get someone that is good on it and be able to do it. And we're taking some of their quilts, some of their t-shirts, and we're going to cut t-shirt quilts. We're going to tie them and create a t-shirt quilt for each one of them. Just so you know, we started getting some merch. Some of the merch that we got some t-shirts. Can you read it for me, Frankie?
Share the Hope on YouTube. Hope rock. Subscribe on Sherthehope2023.
And we each got one to display because we're proud of what we do.
You want to share the hope, guys.
And I want to tell you, there's some people out there that don't think that we're old and stuff like that. I want to tell you something. You're as old as you feel. You can be the youngest person in the world, the youngest person in there, and you still have to prove yourself. And some people that cut you down, walk away from them. If they cut you down, so be it. If they're going to make fun, I remember what my uncle said to me one time when I was going to school. There was a girl that was bullying me, and he said, I want to tell you something. You look her right in the face and say, better that you bully me than to bully someone else. So if you're going to do it to me. And you know what? I have that same attitude. If someone's going to bully me, then so be it. I'm here. Like I said, I am happy with what I'm doing. Some other things, I'm trying to think of some of the things. We play games. Lots and lots of games. And some of the games are like Monopolies. We've got charades, those kind of games. We love trivia. And I love my favorite topics, geography, history, or world history, because that's what I taught. So when it talks about things like, I taught about Australia, India, Madagascar,
The Incas.
The Mayas. There's all kinds of things we taught.
So what did you teach in school, Mama?
Oh, I taught social studies. I taught proficiency readiness to get ready for the big test that was coming up. I taught Egypt. There's so many.
Were you a health teacher too?
I was a health teacher. Yes, I was, and I did teach health. And my major was Bachelor of Science in Education.
When you went to school, Mama, what were you studying to be for? Are you changing the teacher?
Good question. My big study, I was going to be a person that was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I had taken so many criminology classes that I wanted to be someone that could help someone in if they got in trouble.
So like a lawyer.
Like a lawyer. No, I wanted to be the head of all the Supreme Court. But I didn't want to have to spend so many years in school. So I decided, nah, that wasn't for me. So I changed my major freshman year, and I wanted to be a French teacher. Parlez-vous en français? Je suis fatigué. Je suis mal à la tête. Well, I found out from a very good French teacher, my dialect was not French. It was my area, and I couldn't roll my R's like I needed to. So that was out of the picture. So then I decided, I might as well be a teacher. But I didn't know what type of teacher, if I wanted to be preschool or if I wanted to be upper grades. So it was a hard choice, but I ended up choosing the upper grades, and I was satisfied. It was fun to see their faces smile when they learned something.
Did you have an open door policy when anybody had a trouble?
Oh yeah, my open door policy was in the building, and I'll be honest, a lot of teachers kind of condemned me about it. Said, "Oh, Sherry, you can't have an open door to the students." Well, I felt I was there to teach, and if there was a student that was having problems or needing it, I needed to be available, and my availability was in my room. So at lunchtimes, there were times I stayed in there and ate my lunch, and a student might come, and I may have to say, well, go to the counselor, talk to them, and see what they say. So I gave them advice to see people or to talk to people. So, and I think that paid off because people trusted me. They actually ran an entire walking around the track for me for my cancer that I had. We had a cancer awareness, and they walked around the track, and all the students, one student made me a flag. It was pink, and I flew it very high because I was a cancer survivor. And you know what? Those kids, they kept me right beside them, and they made sure, because I told them I had to have a perimeter around my desk because my immunity was really low. And I said, please don't go past that perimeter because I don't want to get sick and end up in the hospital. Not one of those students went past that. And to this day, I remember a boy who went to Walt Disney, and he ended up getting Mickey Mouse ears and stuck them on my desk underneath a couple of my books. And I started looking around, and I'm like, well, there's ears. And I wore them. I wore the Mickey Mouse ears that day. And I wore them with pride. And that boy, his face lit up because those Mickey Mouse ears, even though he might not have wanted to give them to me forever, he gave them to me because he believed in my commitment to beating cancer. And I want to tell you something. That's a whole new story, and I'll probably tell you more about that. But you know what? You have to be a survivor. You have to believe that you can get through it. And don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Like I said, you have to believe in yourself. At this point in time, I think I have to say hello to everyone. Tell them I'm glad you signed in and saw me. I wish all of you happiness, health, and be safe. Like I said, I'm always there. Thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell button. Become a part of Share the Hope with me. And I really appreciate your time.
Tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends.
We want to make this a big thing.
We want to make this a big thing. So take care. And like I said, bada bing, bada boom. See ya.